Do you know why there will not be peace in Israel in spite of this 20-point peace plan? Do you know why? There's not going to be peace in Israel because of liberal arrogance. That's right, liberal arrogance.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
Assuming they know the Middle East or Islam better than we do. I couldn't have said it better myself. That was Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan speaking, by the way. That's what liberal arrogance is. What he just said is what liberal arrogance is. Liberal arrogance is the ignorant or deliberate assumption that Western liberal ideology is superior, therefore the West does not need to take any other ideologies like Islam or Judaism seriously in order to decide what the best course of action is for the Middle East. Someone please tell me, how are you going to solve the problem if you don't know what caused the problem or where the problem is coming from in the first place? How? That's where the arrogance comes from. That's what liberal arrogance is. Let me give you an example of liberal arrogance so it makes more sense to you. Hamas, along with the majority of Palestinians, have not only said that they are not interested in a two-state solution, but have sworn in their charter to kill every Jew in Israel because that's what Islam commands and teaches. They say so in their charter. And we're going to go through some of what that charter says in a minute. Just wait. Guess how Western liberal arrogance responded? They went and recognized Palestine as a sovereign nation instead. Oh my.
Today, we join over 150 countries who recognize a Palestinian state also.
It was actually 153 countries that recognized Palestine as a sovereign nation. But I'm only focusing on Western countries like the UK, France, Australia, Sweden, etc. Why? Because let's be honest, Western countries are more powerful economically, militarily, and have more influence around the world. Where the West goes, the world tends to follow, usually. Yes, that's right. All of these Western countries ignored what Hamas, an elected Democratic Party by the way, said in their charter and went ahead and recognized Palestine as a sovereign country anyway. Madness, pure madness. They basically rewarded Hamas for October 7th. Listen, by recognizing Palestine as a country, they rewarded Hamas. Why? Because Hamas was democratically elected by the majority of the Palestinian population, which means the majority of Palestinians agree with Hamas.
As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire.
Even America, who did not recognize Palestine as a sovereign country. But guess what? Because of liberal arrogance, they also ignored what Palestinians said on their charter and decided to go ahead with this 20-point peace plan. Go and read the 20-point peace plan. Read point number 2. Point number 2 says, Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough. Now let's read what Hamas says on their charter, shall we? Here's what the Hamas charter says. Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. Bang, right there. That's how the charter begins. Shall we continue? All right, let's continue. The Islamic Resistance Movement. The movement's program is Islam. From it, it draws its ideas, ways of thinking, and understanding of the universe, life, and man. It resorts to it for judgment in all its conduct, and it is inspired by it for guidance of its steps. You see, the Hamas movement has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with Islam. Now let's read Article 6 of the Hamas Charter. The Islamic Resistance Movement is a distinguished Palestinian movement whose allegiance is to Allah and whose way of life is Islam. It strives to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine. Again, Hamas is not a political movement. It's a religious movement. So why is the West trying to turn a blind eye to this fact? Let's continue reading. Article 7. This is what it says. The Islamic Resistance Movement is one of the links in the chain of the struggle against the Zionist invaders. The Prophet, Allah bless him and grant him salvation, has said, the day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews, killing the Jews, when the Jews will hide behind stones and trees. The stones and trees will say, O Muslims, O Abdullah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. Only the Garkad tree, evidently a certain kind of tree, would not do that because it is one of the trees of the Jews. And this is related by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. All right? Now, I'm telling you guys, let's continue. Let's continue. This is what their hadiths say. All right? Now, let's continue. Let's go to Article 11. The Islamic Resistance Movement believes that the land of Palestine is an Islamic waqf, consecrated for future Muslim generations until Judgment Day. It or any part of it should not be squandered. It or any part of it should not be given up. Neither a single Arab country nor all Arab countries, neither any king or president, nor all the kings and presidents, neither any organization nor all of them, be they Palestinian or Arab, possesses the right to do that. Palestine is an Islamic waqf land consecrated for Muslim generations until Judgment Day. This being so, who could claim to have the right to represent Muslim generations till Judgment Day? This is the law governing the land of Palestine in the Islamic Sharia law, and the same goes for any land the Muslims have conquered by force. Because during the times of Islamic conquest, the Muslims consecrated these lands to Muslim generations till the day of judgment. Do you understand now? Does it make sense to you now? Do you get it now? So do you guys really think Palestinians will ever give up on their mission to expel and exterminate the Jews from the land of Israel after reading that? Huh? I know you didn't say yes, not after what we just read. But if you said yes, you suffer from liberal arrogance. This ambition, desire to conquer Israel and kill all of the Jews is not new. It didn't start in 1948 or on the 7th of October 2023. It started 1,500 years ago. It's not political. It's religious. And this is what liberal atheist arrogance doesn't seem to understand, to conceptualize in their minds. Why? Because they are atheists. As you guys know, liberals tend to not believe in God. That's why the religious aspect of this conflict never entered the minds of Western government as something relevant to consider. Like the history that Jews have with Muslims for 1,500 years. There's a lot of bad blood there, you know. The persecution and the slaughter of Jews at the hands of Muslims is an aspect of this conflict, again, that the West doesn't seem to want to take into account. And this is only because the dominant ideology in the West is liberalism, aka liberal arrogance. Had the West taken the religion and the history into account, they would have known the best decision to make. And I'll tell you what would have been the best decision. The best decision to make for both would have been to completely remove the Palestinians out of Gaza. Because as long as Muslims are part of the land of Israel, the Jews will never live in peace. It will never happen. This has been going on for 1,500 years, people. Muslims will never stop until the Jews are exterminated and they steal the land of Israel. Unfortunately, atheist liberals who think that liberalism is a superior ideology, liberal arrogance, think they can ignore the two ideologies, Islam and Judaism, as unimportant and irrelevant because they are religious in nature. You see? Why do you think from the river to the sea is a Muslim-Palestinian motto and never again is a Jewish motto? One motto, the Muslims call for the death and the destruction of the Jews, and the other motto, the Jewish motto, the Jews call for the resistance against tyranny. There will never be a two-state solution. Never. It will never happen. Not when these beliefs are embedded in the hearts and minds of Muslims. It will never happen. And the longer Western liberal arrogance continues, the longer this war will continue and more people will die. Netanyahu understands this all too well.
But I'm sure there are people in New York or in London or in Melbourne and elsewhere who are probably thinking, what does all of this have to do with me? And the answer is everything, because our enemies are your enemies. So let's do something else. So first at the UN, let's do a pop quiz. And raise your hand if you know the answer. Who shouts death to America? Is it A, Iran, B, Hamas, C, Hezbollah, D, the Houthis, or E, all of the above? All of the above. Second question. Who has murdered Americans and Europeans in cold blood? Is it A, Al-Qaeda, B, Hamas, C, Hezbollah, D, Iran, or E, all of the above? Correct. So here's the point I wanted to make. Our enemies hate all of us with equal venom. They want to drag the modern world back to the past, to a dark age of violence, fanaticism, and terror. I think many of you are already feeling in your own societies the radical Islamist surge. You know, I'm sure you do, you know deep down that Israel is fighting your fight.
What's the solution? Jesus Christ is the solution. Only Jesus Christ can change the heart of the Jew and the heart of the Muslim and make them live in peace. Liberalism can't do that. Liberalism is a disease that prolongs immorality, suffering, and evil. Liberalism to a Muslim means being free to follow Islam to the fullest extent, and to Judaism, the same thing. How does this solve anything? It doesn't. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? Peace.